Happy peeps, Suzanna here today for ThermOWeb, and happy International Scrapbooking Day. We have a challenge for you using this sketch. There's also a coordinating card sketch, but I am using the layout sketch, and that is the layout that I created. So be sure to follow the blog for details. So in order to create the background, instead of that grid paper, I am going to use some Pixie Spray on a stencil. So I didn't actually do this, but you want to spray it and wait 1 minute and set it aside, and that is going to make the back of your stencil tacky, which is super awesome because I always manage to pull the stencil up. And then I'm going to use Glitz glitter gel, and I'm going to use 3 different colors. I'm going to use, so right now I've got Turquoise C, and then I'm going to use Bubblegum, which is a pink color, and then I'm going to use Green Grass, and I'm going to alternate them all the way down the width of the page there. So this is the Bubblegum, and I want the colors to overlap, and unfortunately you don't see pretty much the middle half of the page, and I cover this up, but that's okay because it's still really cool, and you can see some of the color overlap. So what you want to do when you're doing the overlap is make sure that you don't have too much of the glitter gel on your palette knife or your stencil buddy or whatever it is that you're using. That way when you have leftover, you don't have too much mixed kind of muddy colored leftover that you are going to waste, because what you'll see what I do here when I'm finished is I'm going to go ahead and wipe that palette knife just onto my paper towel. And actually the back side of the palette knife is that solid color. It's the front side of the palette knife where you hold that knife at that 45-degree angle and pull it down and blend it that ends up giving you that mixed color there. So see how that pulls off because of the Pixie Spray. I'm going to overlap this, and I know I've got color on there, but I'm not worried about it because it doesn't really, it goes through, but not much of it, because the bulk of the color that is going to be in that stencil is the color that you're putting on there. So I'm going to fast forward this because I've just talked you through what I'm going to do. I line up the stencil and move it, and I don't worry about the color that is there. Once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside to dry so that I don't get sticky Glitz gel on the back of my photos and everything as I'm moving them around, because I am one who is known for being very impatient and not waiting for things to dry. So you can see I have, so in my stash, I have birthday and Christmas and Thanksgiving and fall. And then when all of this lovely tropical stuff came out, I clumped all of that together and I store that together. So these are scraps. I believe this is crepe paper that I'm using here. And while I'm doing this, so what I'm doing is I'm creating the banner. So the sketch calls for 4 banners, a really tall one and then 3 smaller ones. And so I'm going to play with the colors and do that. But I also want to apologize to you for the darkness and the shadows in this video. The weather here in Virginia has been absolutely miserable. It's been raining and we've had some horrible storms, and I don't have filming lights, not yet anyway, and let's just say I don't have filming lights. And so I am working by a window, and I, believe it or not, actually have a light to the right of me. But I had to position the light in such a way that it wasn't creating shadow either. So this is what I have to work with. So I apologize if the shadow bothers you and the darkness of this bothers you. But those of you who follow me know that most of my videos are not this dark. So these are the 4 banners, easy to create notches in the banner. You just cut down the middle. If you were precise, you could take out your ruler and find the exact middle. I am not that precise. I just kind of snip up, and then you use your scissors to cut from the corner up to the top of that snip down the middle there, and that will create symmetrical banners. And you can see how I but I put the ends together, and then that way I get symmetrical tops and bottoms to those banners there. So you can see folded, snip, snip, and voila, symmetrical banners. And so I am going to do that from those 4 pieces of pattern paper. And I really liked that dark green there, but for some reason I changed my mind and I go with that flamingo pink. I really do like the flamingos, and I think the reason that I ended up doing that, in fact, I know the reason that I ended up doing that is because my daughter is wearing a pink dress. Pink in the picture, and so I wanted to kind of put a little bit more emphasis on the pink. I also covered up a lot of that pink Glitz gel, and so I needed a slightly heavier emphasis on the pink there. So because I'm gluing down onto the Glitz glitter gel, I am most definitely going to use my Ultra Bond liquid adhesive here, and I have a metal tip applicator. If you follow any of my work, you will know that I struggled with that metal tip applicator at first, but if you use it frequently, you become a pro at getting that pin into the metal tip applicator. And just as a word of warning, the metal tip applicators do not come with a pin. This is just a dress shirt pin. Yeah, they use pins to pull down the collar or secure the collars on men's dress shirts, and that is what I am using there. I'm sure you could buy a pin, but that's what I happen to have. So that is the background and the main photos. Now it is time to set to work and embellish. So I have here, those are definitely the crepe paper embellishments. And then behind that, I have some stickers from my mind's eye. And I love that gold flamingo, so I'm going to go with that. Because I have the glitter, I feel like that gold there is perfect. Now I want to create some flowers, so I have pulled out the Rina case Stampin' Stencil Sending Sunshine set, and I'm going to create these flowers. So I have used actually a combination of inks. This happens to be Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going to stamp that. I have a water stamp as well. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to use this awesome transfer gel Duo. It dries clear, but it stays tacky, and the great thing about the Duo gel is that you can use it either in a hot laminator or on your die cutting machine. So if you don't want to wait for your hot laminator to warm up and all of that fun stuff, you can definitely go through the die cutting machine, which is what I'm going to do today. I've got 2 there. One, you can see where it goes on white and then it dries clear. So that is actually clear, but it doesn't look clear because the ink has permeated through the clearness of the Duo gel there. So you're going to then take a piece of your flock transfer sheet and put that flock side down into the Duo gel, put it in your parchment package, and then run it through your die cut machine, and look, a perfect transfer. I love this because I don't have to wait for the hot laminator. I do find that this stuff takes less time to dry as well, which is perfect. So that is the stamp, and then we've used the stencil. Now we're going to use the die cut from the set and die cut that out. The thing with this flower is that a lot of the petal edges look the same. So it takes a while for me to find exactly how this die is going to line up. And it does leave a nice crisp white border, which I like. Some people don't, but if you don't like it, you could also fussy cut that to get a cleaner look. So yeah. Spin it right round, right? Spin it right round, baby. Yeah, no, you don't want me singing. So that is the die on a much brighter. What was deceiving about these inks, so those are my Pink Fresh Studio inks, is my samples I have stamped all on Basil, I want to say, and I am actually using Coordinations cardstock, or the other way around. I can't remember. No, I know I stamped it on Basil. Anyway, so it came out a slight, oh, I know, I'm using Basil White, the clear, instead of, I like stamping on the smooth, and then the background is actually the textured. So it didn't come out quite as, it was a lot redder, a more vivid red than what I had imagined from the samples that I have made. So I have 3 colors there, and I'm going to use them. So the sketch calls for hearts, but I use hearts as a placeholder when I create sketches. And so instead of the hearts, I am going to go ahead and use those flowers. Then I want a little bit more gold on this layout because while I've got the shimmer of the glitz, I don't want just the gold to be standing over there by itself. So I'm going to put a little bit of a thread ball behind that flower that is going to go on the right hand side. And again, I'm going to use my liquid Ultra Bond because I'm working over that textured glitter, and I find that I get a much better, secure adhesion with the adhesive when I use that liquid glue. So just a little bit of pressure to hold things down. I like to have dimension on my layouts, not too much dimension, which is why this foam is perfect for that. That is also from Gina K by ThermOWeb. And so that's just going to raise that picture up off of the other one for a little bit of dimension there. I am off camera going to put some pink baker's twine through that tag that is in the behind that photo that I'm working on there. So I have three flowers that are going to go on, and you can see that I have that really bright one up on the left there. There's something, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me, and so I will, towards the end of this video, I'm actually going to change the placement of those. I see these gold pineapples, and so I'm going to build that in. I like the way that the pineapple closes that distance. It's almost like you have some empty space between the tags and the flower, and that brings it together, and you don't have that gap, so that this way you now have a visual triangle of the three flowers and sort of three cluster embellishments. Each of those clusters is different. I'm also going to use that palm tree, the gold palm tree, just underneath, and then I'm going to put the title there, and these letter stickers that I'm going to use from My Mind's Eye from that pack there are perfect. I really wanted to put one of these banners in, again, just for a hint more gold, but I couldn't make it work. It actually doesn't look bad below that photo of her holding her sunglasses, but I like the pink standing out with the balance of the pink to the top and the balance to the bottom there. That flamingo that I just stuck there, I am going to pull off. It serves no purpose, and it's disproportional, which just really bothered me, which is why it ended up coming off. So I'm going to use these letters to put ray of, and then underneath I'm going to use the other letters to put sunshine. Again, I get distracted by these things because I have banners. I think that other banners will work. And while the banners go top to bottom across the page, it really has more of a stronger horizontal to it, I feel like, the page, because of the way that the pictures go and then the way that the title goes. So yeah, it's interesting when you look for the strong diagonal or the strong horizontal or the strong vertical. While the banners go vertical, the horizontal is really the stronger thing here in my mind's eye. And then what I am also going to do after I finish this title is journal underneath, and I will not do that on camera. I don't ever do that. So again, this is a sketch challenge for International Scrapbook Day. We look forward to seeing what it is that you do with these sketches. I hope you are having a great time celebrating. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for stopping in today. Enjoy celebrating International Scrapbook Day. I hope you're doing well. Take care.